You'll want to meet this morning's guest. He's a real character. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Murrells Inlet office of America's largest telephone cooperative, HTC. We're focused on the Horry County communities of character, and we're visiting with its co-founder and president, the Reverend Leslie McIver. Good morning.
Good morning.
McIver, do you mind if I call you Leslie?
You may call me that.
Here early on a Friday morning.
And I would get up early only for a person like you. Thank you so much.
Listen to that one. You know, the last time we were together on the show, we were in the Florence Civic
Center, that's correct.
Focused on the annual big dinner there for the PD Area Council of the Boy Scouts.
Boy Scouts, yeah. So we both have been entrenched in that for a long time.
Well, you much longer than I. That's something you've been. And, of course, I think we were together a number of times up at Camp Coker. I don't know if you did the show with us up there, but at least that time
I was there.
At the Florence Civic Center.
And, of course, you know, I'm still with it.
Oh, yeah, very definitely. We want to talk about Scout Reach,
yeah.
A lot going on, obviously, there. But the PD Area Council is a very large council.
11 counties,
Is
actually.
that right?
Right. And, means so much, and we need to reinvigorate it even more so now with all these gangs. So I'm going to talk about another gang I want to offer, only this is a good gang, okay?
Good. Well, speaking of good gangs, obviously you're thinking in that fashion, but in the same time, you've seen a lot of good things happen in this county over
my
many years.
specialty, I think, would be in the area of teenagers, young people. That's where my niche, I think, is. And I call myself, Greg, a recycled teenager.
Is that right? Yeah, you use that openly. Good for you.
Yes.
Over and over. I love it.
Think like them and still very active with them. So if a word or two slip in that you may not understand, it's because
it's because you're a recycled teenager. I love it. Are you originally from the area, Leslie?
No, I was born and raised in Sherrill, South Carolina. That's in Chesterfield County.
Right.
It's about 85 miles from here.
That's actually close to Camp Coker.
Technically it is in Chesterfield County. I could get there in about 20 minutes from home. But the fame of Sherrill is, of course, my cousin, Dizzy Gillespie.
Your cousin, Dizzy Gillespie. You're kidding.
You know, you want to own somebody who's famous.
Right.
He may be down the line somewhere, but seriously, he says he's my... When I was able to talk to him before he died, we talked about cousin and Junior and all those people. I don't remember all those people. He did.
He did, yes.
He was born a block behind where I lived.
Is that right?
My mother used to really get upset with him because he would be out there playing that old trumpet, and she'd say, "Oh, that old noise," and throw a shoe or something at him, you know.
Leslie, you are kidding. And you have vivid memories of Chirral.
Yes, I do.
Or Chirral, or Chirral.
Well,
I'll never get it right. Yeah, I was corrected by Graham Edwards, another Chesterfield County native at one time.
Yes, he's there.
When we were filming out at Santee Cooper when he was co-chairing the Heart Walk with Brad Dean 5 or 6 years ago in memory of Ashby Ward. And maybe it was 4 years ago. It was fascinating to hear him correct me on the set during an interview.
Quite a few people in this area. Coach Bennett, we claim it's from
David
Sherrill.
Bennett is another Chirral.
Former SLED director, Stewart.
Is that right?
Sherrill, yes. And so
we could probably spend the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, we better move
talking
on
about
here.
Chirral. Do you still have family up there?
Yes, I do. My parents have left us, but they're cousins, and then I go back occasionally. Well, quite often. Bring back so many memories.
Oh, yeah.
The prettiest town in Dixie is its little caption name. So
is that right? They claim to be the prettiest town in Dixie.
That is correct.
That's fascinating.
And beautiful place. It had 3 major highways going through there before the interstate started, so we had a lot of visitors and
a lot of commerce.
Really, I think it was a beautiful place to grow up and live. Greg.
Do you still, of course, obviously you highlighted traveling down there. What brought you down this way?
Well, Greg, I really graduated from college too early. I was 19 years old when I graduated from college.
Oh, come on.
And I started
Now,
teaching.
no fibbing on a Friday morning, particularly from a reverend here.
It's too early in the morning.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
My prayers already. So
I know.
legit.
What, age 19?
And mother said, you know, you're just too young to come back home to deal with students about your own age with
Right.
and teach your education. And so she said, well, go try for a year and then come on home after that, you know, because she wanted to come. I came to Horry County. I drank the water. and I have never left.
And you said you'd never leave. You knew it at that moment that this was going to be home.
Well, yes, after about a year or so. It was
Right.
just a fascinating place. And I love the wilds. I love the ocean. I love nature. And I love, well, the people here, just so wonderful.
Have you ever lived at the beach, or has most of your life been in the on the west side of the waterway?
On the west side.
Is that right?
And it's close enough. Because
It's closer to Chirral then, so
Right,
if
and
you
then I
were
can-
ever to break away, it was going to be a lot easier.
I can come over and visit the water and then go back, especially when these crowds come in.
That's right.
Now the motorcyclists and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Let me stay over on that side.
Yeah, the Harley Week wrapping up now.
Yeah.
You know, it kicked off obviously last Friday, and a lot been happening in this area. And this Murrells Inlet branch last week would have been a madhouse.
Yes.
It really would have been a madhouse with so much happening.
But, it's just a pleasure to be on the show with you, Greg. I know a lot about you, too, and, of course, we've been together a long time. I just admire all that you do. You're promoting me. But
Don't even think about me. That's very kind. Of course, the Horry County Communities of Character had to get its start somewhere. Share with viewers about how it kicked off.
Well, Pastor Randy Riddle, and I, we were in the gym together, and we were talking about what are we going to do. We were all complaining about changing in society and ethical values, and we were just talking, not to get too much of that theology stuff in there, but how we're going to do with it practically with our community. So we became connected with the City of Characters program at that time, and in 1999 I was on City Council. I spent 12 years on
Conway City Council.
On City Council, and really just not the kind of person who just want to sit around and do anything. You've got to have something.
Recycled teenager, yes, yeah.
So we started the City of Character program, did a lot of research, went to Detroit, went to Indiana, several places, because I like to be a hands-on person, get the knowledge as much as I can before I start something. 1999, the City of Conway signed a resolution, and we started with the City of Character program, and that has progressed beautifully. Not as outstanding as I would, because a lot of people don't want to touch this stuff when you start talking about morals and values and ethics.
And they don't want to touch it because
it might open up some skeletons in the closet or something like that.
Interesting. So it put them under too much scrutiny.
Yeah, but we need it.
Right.
Look what is happening, Greg, in our world. Look what's happening with our leaders, and even in the ministerial programs. I mean, there's so much unethics. Everybody is talking about greed and self. So we thought we would bring about the program that would make people aware that this world is not centered on self. You've got to give of yourself. What in the world am I here for in the first place? Is a question that we should all ask. And with these
Christians or non-Christians,
non-Christians,
everyone.
what are you put here for?
Right.
If you notice, we try not to emphasize the Christian side of it because we don't want to we want it open to everybody.
Sure, absolutely. And morals are for everybody.
Right.
Anyway. Right.
And you take a dip out of it. You love to read the Bible where it's all there, do it. If you're not, it's just normal for me not to want to hurt you or take something that is that is yours and try to make it mine. That's not right for anybody of any persuasion. So that's the element that we want to come with the City of Character program. But as I said, the City of Conway did a beautiful job in supporting us in the beginning, getting us started. We're 5013C, we are chartered, we are international. Because I've sat in some meetings beside some German captains in the police force.
Is that right?
Yes, from all of the countries. I start naming them, but it's really an international effort. I do think that if we persist, it's going to last. We were able to get Horry County Council to see the light, and by unanimous vote, when Larry Biddle presented it to the council, because we try to get the right person to say the right thing at the right time. If it wasn't you, it would
be Larry.
Pastor Biddle. They adopted it without any qualms, and they are still supporting it.
Tremendous.
I'm talking about the Conway City of Character, now turned to be the Horry County Community.
Right.
Communities of characters. So actually we have started with the Lois and Myrtle Beach.
Right.
We can get Myrtle Beach. into the whole program.
Praying on a Friday morning, I like it. That's right.
Early in the morning.
Thinking about the finishing college at 19, obviously we think you're fibbing, but based off of you continuing to roll with that,
I'm still praying
that's right.
about that,
It must have really happened.
But it was true, and I've just been pursuing education ever since. I just like to learn. I really like to learn. I want to share this with others, and with the knowledge that I have at my age now, 65.
Oh,
plus, I don't want to leave here and take all this with me to where I go, to heaven. But let's leave some of this with us. This is why we're starting these programs. I was on the track that Horry County Council decided to adopt this program, and so now we have actually changed it
to the Horry County Communities of Character.
Right. I want to make sure that point is well emphasized.
And just real quick, if a viewer needs to get off to work now or get family off to school, is it best to call the City of Conway or to call? Is there a phone number for the Communities of Character? The Horry County
now, our website is with you would.
That's the best place to.
City of Character. City of Conway, City of Character. Then there's a link.
Okay, good.
But I'm sure that very shortly I'll have the Horry County link.
Absolutely, sure.
John Zielinski is working on the.
Fantastic.
Very beautiful.
Oh yeah, having that Horry County connection is so important to be able to take advantage, and particularly with them supporting it, and so many communities in the county.
He's changing it to be legitimate now. The Horry County Communities of Characters, and any community, Briarcliff, Atlantic Beach. And several other places who can join in and take the program, which we can bring in speakers, we can bring in, we have all kinds of materials.
Sure, absolutely. I saw it, and it was so fascinating going through much of the info early this morning, Leslie, to see the 49 different character traits. To see those utilized on a monthly basis. And so it planned out 2007 through 2011. Every month, having a different real focus there, because there is. And not necessarily from a biblical perspective, but from a right perspective.
Loyalty. I mean, every one of us. Preservation, joy. Love. And wouldn't it be beautiful to be stopped by a policeman and he hand you a card? Today is my day. I'm joyful. I'll give you this card. And have a wonderful day. I mean, and not writing that ticket with the big blue light on. So it's to affect the community through family, through our religious organizations, through media, through our educational institution, and it's just like a wheel, a round emphasis.
Absolutely. Leslie, so many folks know you throughout the county for your 40 plus years, I think 42 plus years in education. Share with viewers about how you, I know we started there obviously when your mother said, you need to come on home, and you said, I got to get away for a little while. That's right. Or the other way around, or you need to go away somewhere before you come back. You're too young to come back at 19. What the door that opened here in Horry County, excuse me, digressing, but I want to make sure, because so many folks have seen you, they know you from your time there in the classroom or in the gymnasium or otherwise. It's you've been across so many boards there.
Well, Greg, that can be a negative too, because I can't do anything wrong. I have to just stay on the path of righteousness all the time. I remember signing in a motel in Greenville, and it was legitimate now, and everything was under control. But to have the clerk come up and say, Mr. McIver, how can I help you? And you shake, you wonder. But it was one of the students who have been all the way around. So everywhere I go, there's somebody watching. So you have to.
After 42 plus years, do you remember your first year in the classroom?
Oh yes.
Do you? What stands out?
The fact that I had to wrestle with a young student. We actually had to wrestle in class because he wanted to take over class, and I was about as young as he was because he was a veteran at that time. And so I had to show him who was enough man. So since that time, I established myself. Well, the other students came and separated us, but you don't push this guy around even though he looks like a boy.
A recycled teenager again.
But since then I've expanded.
There's some big teenagers.
You know the definition of an adult anyway. Adult is the one who stops growing at each end and starts growing in the middle.
So that was a vivid memory of your first year. That's a vivid memory.
Once we established that, and they saw the sincerity. We're not here to play. We're not here to goof around. You you're here to learn. And we developed, we thought, one of the best bands in the whole area. In South Carolina, I've got several awards to that effect. And that was not a brag point. It's just proving to students what they can do.
Right.
And from there, we have other professional musicians.
Sure.
Along with many students who are teaching music, and well, not only in the music, but lawyers, doctors, have come out of that, and we just have
folks that came through the band programs, right?
Indian chiefs and everything else.
Indian chiefs too? Son of a gun! Well, you have covered a lot more bases than I thought.
Oh, it's been a wonderful. It's just been wonderful living, you know.
You highlighted early this morning there was a point when you were leading not only one band, not only two bands, but at one point up to three bands throughout the county as you were wearing a lot of hats. What was that like?
My whole career has been here, except I spent some time with the governor's school in Greenville. I spent about 8 years with them as an administrator, but my main program was here in Horry County. When a band director would leave the school for whatever reasons, service or just being fired or something, the program had to go on, so they would call me and ask me for a few hours. And so up in Green Sea, and I remember Chestnut High School, these some old high school. Anyway, it was time for Christmas, so the kids have to be in the parade.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So all three of them were ready to go in the parade, and there I was. Now, which band do you stand with, Leslie? Because you were the band director of all three of them at this time. I just went on the corner and said, "Kids, you've been trained, now do it." And they carried on.
And they did.
Yes.
And they did.
That was quite a time. It was a good memory. Beautiful memory.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous. Well, I hate to say it, time is blowing by, and I want to make sure we have a chance to talk about the Scout Reach program. You opened up with both bad gangs and good gangs, and the Boy Scouts are trying to do something to make a difference.
Let's don't criticize. We have some troubles in our community, and really they're getting worse. We're getting some of the national gangs coming into our community, Crips and Bloods, and
are they're showing up here in Horry?
They're wannabes at this time. Not quite as vicious as they are full scale, but if we sit back and let it happen, we're going to be run over with them, seriously, because the kids, we're not providing enough recreation or even attention to. Bands and whatnot that we used to have, football and that kind of thing, but we want to provide a game. Kids need to have association. They like uniforms. They like to make little funny signs. They like to, so they do that with the game. They feel as if it's part of a family. Why can't we do it for a good game? And the best I can see as of now, it would be our scouting program. There is a program in the scouting program, and I'm on the executive board, so were you at one time.
One time, yes.
Yeah, and I'm still on the executive board. Yes, I know.
You give a lot of time to scouting.
And so we starting, well, it's nothing new, it's just we want to emphasize the Scout Reach program, which deal with urban kids and the kids who don't, so we can put it anyway. They don't even have to wear the Scout uniform if they don't want to. But we want to keep those values going. We want to be able to take them out in the woods. We want to take them on educational trips. So we're trying to do that, and so I'm going to ask the community to help me with Scout Reach program. If you want to make a donation or something, just put on the bottom for Scout Reach and just send it to the headquarters.
They're in Florence.
Yeah, in Florence, PD Area Council.
On Coit Street,
Yes. And I need some help because I want to go to a national training out in Philmont, Camp Philmont out in New Mexico. And that's going to cost some money, which, do all these things, but, sometimes I don't have enough personal money really on a retirement income to go to that. And bring back the latest of information, the latest trends, so that we can motivate our community. And this is a giving community. Always. I'm on the United Way, and we just meet at our goals. And so if it's legitimate, and what is more legitimate than trying to help our youth and to keep all this bad stuff out all around our colleges, it really makes me cringe.
And how will y'all reach in to find the kids who may be borderline, stepping into the wrong gangs there and not the right gang?
Well, that's my ministry. In the highways and the byways, I don't mind going in any area in this county. There's no place I'm afraid of. I plan to do it from the pulpit. I'm an ordained minister.
That's right. I'm sorry we haven't. I opened up as the Reverend Leslie McIver, obviously, and
of the United Methodist Church. I'm ordained, fully ordained. But my mission on earth and my ministry is to deal with people and make my own ministry, which means that I don't prescribe to a pulpit, just one place, but all out here. I will find the kids if I have the resources, have a little gas money,
right,
and that kind of thing. I'll go out and find them.
Viewers who want to help make sure you get out to Philmont can send something with your name on it up to the Petey Area Council there.
Council, yes.
On Coit Street, or they can call them and find a way. I'm sure there's a lot of different ways to make donations to make sure someone goes out to represent this community. We're not just talking about Oree. The 10 other Petey Area counties that you're talking about.
Marion is where we're going to start. Oree, then Marion. Can't leave home county out, but Oree, Marion, then probably Clarendon, and some other counties that really need this because of the situation of our times.
Right.
Or they can contact me directly,
Okay.
And I'll make sure that everything is legitimate.
Absolutely,
everything
of course.
With our
That's right.
city character program, with the scout program, and anything else I do, the ministries.
Absolutely, and not being afraid of any part of the county or any part of virtually any counties, getting in there to make sure children have a chance to see the right way.
And we can save some of them. We save 2 or 3, then we've done a yeoman's job, because a lot of them are just going on the paths of destruction. Pick up the paper, read it, your paper, the Herald.
You don't read much of that in the Myrtle Beach Herald, I got to admit. You're not seeing much of that news in the Myrtle Beach Herald, but oftentimes we should show more of the negativity that is actually occurring.
Well, the other paper.
Right.
Will
surely some papers will give enough.
Yeah.
That's right. They'll balance out all the good news.
Well, I'm glad of that.
In the Herald, that's right.
One that we can look forward to.
Yeah, Leslie, we just got a couple of minutes, and as you think, of course, all your time involved in Scout Reach, your ministry that's not necessarily from the pulpit, but in the community as an ordained minister, so God is surely a central piece in your life. When did you recognize that Christ was the center of your life?
As I went through the ordination process, and that is with psychiatrists and everything else, when the United Methodist Church is a very strict church as far as its ministers.
Right.
I found out that I was a minister when I was a band director.
Is that right?
In the period of discovery, or in the period of discernment.
Right.
Because, I would always tell my children, don't do what I say to. Watch me.
Right.
If I'm doing something, if I'm using bad language or whatnot, you can use it. But until you hear me, then you have no right.
Good for you, Leslie.
And I mean,
I bet a lot of parents don't do that. They really should. I mean, that is the right thing, because what a great holding yourself accountable.
Right. And,
you watch me.
Yeah. And if you find me drinking or something like that, then
you do the same thing.
I can't say a word to you.
Good for you,
but
Leslie.
Until that time.
Now, that's something where more parents should really step out and think about that.
Until that time. And my 4 kids came up personally with that in their mind. So,
where are your 4 kids right now, Leslie?
Well, I think one of them, Kenneth,
who
had been working with Burris and Chapin
for a long
trying
time
to help with Atlantic Beach, and so he's doing his freelance stuff now, but still going to be around this area because he likes it too. He lives on Atlantic Beach. Keith, the twin, is in Columbia. He's running a college at the naval base in Charleston.
Is that right?
The director of that.
Oh boy.
Leslie Jr. is a senior vice president at Bank of America in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Is that right? I don't think I knew that. Yeah.
My daughter Pamela is with People's Underwriters, with that student of mine who just left us, Frank Thompson.
Right.
Well, he was so close to me.
Right.
But she's working with there and carrying on the banner.
2 in Oree, 1 in the Midlands, and 1 in the Charlotte area.
Right.
That's tremendous.
Got him out of New York, got him out of Atlanta, so I'm going to try to bring him on.
Brought him to the Carolinas,
I'm going to try to bring him on into Conway to take over some of the leadership and some of the things that we get started.
That's tremendous, Leslie. And what do you think really keeps you focused and keeps you looking forward?
You've got to stay active. You will dry up. You will wither away. I go to the fitness center. I think positive. I like the alternative medicines in some cases. And being around people like you and staying with those children. I will be back out at the high school shortly. That keeps you youth. It keeps your blood running. And thinking positive. And may I say, love the Lord.
You may.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That is, my spirituality is so strong. I just love people. And I say that's a bad disease that I have. I go and make sermons or something and say, I tell people in a minute, I have a bad disease, and people
stay back.
Yeah. Until I say, I have an insatiable disease. I love people to death. Then they calm down.
It shows, Leslie. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Sorry we've run out of time.
Be glad to come back again.
We'll make that happen, absolutely, when you get back from Philmont. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with the Reverend Leslie McIver, Sr., coming up next. What is character? Think about that. What is character? If you've sat here the last 25 minutes, you've seen it personified in the Reverend Leslie McIver. If you were in the Horry County school system the last 40-plus years, you saw it personified in the Reverend Leslie McIver. If you've attended a Boy Scout meeting or a pep rally for the Scouts, you saw it personified in the Reverend Leslie McIver. Easy phone number, 843-248-2840, 248-2840. If you want to help to make sure the PD Area Council has a representative out at Philmont, pick up the phone, 843-248-2840. If you want to help make sure more communities in Horry County and throughout the area get good cities and towns and communities of character, 843-248-2840. If you want to meet the Lord, take the time to pick up the phone, 843-248-2840. Reverend Leslie McIver, thanks so much for being with us this morning and for showing great character.
My pleasure. Absolutely.